All right, first of all, welcome. Today, we are going to demo the Cycle 1B customization, which include all the post-registration activity, like to update your attendee information, the product information, organization information, evaluation, and so on. Mainly, it's going over the My Task tab and the My Activity tab. So the actual delivery day is next week. But since we have the weekly meeting, so we want to show you guys our progress. So some of the feature we are not able to show you today. They are almost done, like 90%, but there's some small bug fixes, so it's not deployed to my current branch, so I cannot show it to you guys. But we'll also cover that too. So do you guys have any question before we start?
No.
No.
All right, great. So for this demo purposes, I already pre-created some of the registration. So we are not going to demo like login, how to register for events, how to pick different event types, searching. That's 1A, so we did that. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So great. So the first feature I would like to show you is the wish list. So for example, if I search for an event, so from the result, I can see this new column called wish list, and it's a heart next to it. Right now, the heart is grayed out. That means it's not in my wish list. You can click on any of the heart. For example, I click on that. You can see the progress bar show up, and then this become light up as red. And if you realize on the top right-hand corner, the count number was 6 before, now it becomes 7. If I click the heart on the second event, then you can see the count increase to 8. So everything is very fast behind the scene. You don't have to wait for anything to load. If you unclick a heart, that means to remove from the wish list, then you can see the count decrease to 7. This is a wish list feature. You can add and remove wish list from the search result, like the Help Me Choose page. You can also do it from the actual event type page. Anywhere you see the heart, you can add to wish list or remove from wish list. You can also do it on the event profile. Yes.
What about those closed events, though? See how those events are closed, yet they have a heart next to them?
Yeah, so this is a question that right now we program it to, yes, you can still add to the wish list. So we are thinking about that. So not just close. What if, it's actually end dated, or you remove the post online date? That's like a start and end date post online. If the event is not showing here, then I cannot wish list them. What if I add to my wish list, the event is closed? Would it still show on my list? What if the event is completely removed from the website? You put an end date, then it should not show on the website. How about the wish list? So right now, so what we do is, if it is post online, then yes, we will show it on the wish list. And if it's closed, wait listed, we also show on the wish list, as long as it's not end dated. The post web end date is not end dated. What do you guys think?
Well, I think one of the opportunities here is, even if it's closed or waitlisted or removed, would the fact that somebody waitlisted it be savable for next year, so that we would know, as we're recruiting for an activity that's even closed or waitlisted, who was interested in it last year, to form our target list for the subsequent year.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we try to follow, if you think what the Amazon, we always ask ourselves, what is Amazon do? Because it's the best online retailer. For Amazon, for example, you add something to your cart, you can put to the shopping cart wish list and use it later. And even if you buy the item already on the new shopping cart, the item is still in your wish list. Even though the item is not available, it's always in your wish list regardless, always there. So that's why we keep everything here. Even though it's closed and data, we still want to show it here.
And Netflix does that. It makes me crazy, because I end up halfway through a video and I've already watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, one potential problem is if I wish list a event and it go to a Sitefinity page, and if the page is removed, then this will be a broken link. But this is something we manage in Sitefinity. As long as the page exists, you can still go to the event, but you just cannot register for it.
So, can a follow-up to the question? Since this is saved in Sitefinity, there is no flag, trigger, or anything queryable, if you will, in that forum in iWeb for us to, let's say, recruit those organizations who have triggered that wish list item. Is that correct?
It is in that form. So I'll also show you the iWeb interface. So this is tied to my individual login, and the wish list will actually show under my name. I'll show you in a minute where to find the information. So what I meant by the Sitefinity side is only the actual page. Let's say if I go to this event, Market Builder Hong Kong, it go to a specific Sitefinity page. All right, I can't click on it. Okay, so this is a bug I need to fix. This is not clickable. Oh, there you go. It's just a delay. So I mean this page, this Program Activity Market Builder J15MBK. So this page is in Sitefinity. It could be taken out online, it could be removed, so I have no control. So if this page not exists, when I click on the link, then this will be a broken link.
So what about if they clicked on it, and let's say they did the activity, so they did, I can't read what this, is that Frozen Food Buyers Mission? Is that like the third or fourth one down the list? So let's say they hearted it and or wish listed it, and then the activity concluded. Is there a way that we can save the fact that they wish listed it for future years so that it doesn't remain wish listed on their dashboard, but we know that they wish listed it in the past, so that we can query it in the future to figure out whoever wish listed this activity or something similar in the past.
I see. So I'll definitely, absolutely. So I'll recommend creating a query or report you run from iWeb. So query is any event they wish listed but did not complete, and also completed. You can do both in a report. So you can recruit on them or even survey on them and use the data. So I wouldn't do anything on the Sitefinity side to say, okay, they complete the event, let's mark it like for my wish list page so they can be shown, okay, it's like a golden heart or something, that indication. So that's something you can definitely do on the report side. And this is the interface from iWeb that you can see from test site. This is my login, my individual profile. Under the event profile tab, there is a new child form called event wish list. So it shows all the wish listed events that I had. I can delete them, modify them. I can add a new one. So I can add a new event right here that will show up on the interface right away. And since it's in iWeb, you can report on it. You can query on that. You know, it's on a database. So you can do anything you want with this data. All right, it's a good example that you can see, you know, people add to the wish list but never actually complete the event. This would be, you know, one of the reports that you guys can work on, you know, to report some of this data. All right, and also finish the tooltip so you can see the, you know, tooltip work on the wish list. And if you click this icon, I go to this page, just like this is the wish list page. It just go to, you know, the wish list tab. It's the same location. My wish list is the same as this icon. Okay, so any question for wish list?
So what are we going to do if they have, whoever that was, go ahead.
What do we do in iWeb? It looks like it's under the individual. Is there a way so that it shows up under the organization?
Anything about that? So right now that you can see I work on this organization, and this my, you know, 9 different wish list item, and in individual it show my 9 wish list here. If I go to the organization, yes, we can show you all the wish lists that everyone work in this organization, but it would be a pretty long list. So for example, if this organization have 20 people and each person have 10 wish lists, then the list will show all 200 of them.
Hey, Ken, the requirement for this item was that it was organization-based so that every member, every individual at the organization would see the same list. So if I'm in the same organization as you, I add something to the list. You go to the wish list, you'll see what I added.
Yeah.
So this could just be at the organization level instead of the individual?
Yeah, but the question is, why do you want to do organization level, though? Everyone can have their own wish list, right?
Because it's all the people at the organization. You might be putting something up there for your boss to see or for someone else to see. You might be someone going in there and sort of taking a look at things that we might be interested as an organization for the year that we want to come back to later and look at.
Plus, Ken, we, in terms of recruitment, we really recruit and have organizations participate. If we have someone that left the organization, we don't want all of that intelligence to go with them. We want it to stay with the organization. So the next year, let's say, if we want to reach out to them, in Tim's example, we can still be aware of the organization that expressed interest in the activity but didn't participate. And you lose all of that intelligence because we expired an individual.
Right. So there's two ways to do that. So we either, as earlier we recommended, we show the wish list in iWebsite. So in iWeb, we never lost the data because the individual, even though they don't work for this organization, we still have the relationship record. We still can find out who work for this organization and find out what wish list they have add to the wish list cart. And we can always pull a report to find this organization, grab all the individual, and grab all their wish list item. So, but that's a little bit different than add to the wish list. That wish list is my organization. Because if I'm a user, I'm logging in, I have 9 items. Tomorrow I come back, how come I only have 1 left? Someone else in the organization remove all my wish list. Why is that, It's kind of feel weird that, it's not typical that wish list is more like, this is my wish list, my card. But in the back end, you can report on an organization level. That's not a problem. You can recruit on an org level. But we recommend that the wish list is more like my login, this is my password, this is my wish list. What do you guys think? You still want? Yeah.
I could see where there would be a challenge if you had person A put something on the wish list and person B said, how did that get on my wish list? I'm going to delete it. Or person B went in and saw that there was something on the wish list and they're like, I'm not interested in that, and they deleted it. They're deleting it from the other person, and suddenly then it's gone altogether. So I could see where if we could see it on iWeb, that would probably be a good workaround rather than having everybody be able to see everything. Because if they can see it, then they can delete it, right?
Right, correct. All right, I take my notes. I'll keep the Sitefinity side on individual level wish list, but in iWebsite, you can report on the organization level. I will create a child form to show all the wish lists from the org.
So I have a related question, Ken. And maybe I just missed it, but it's not clear to me on the eWeb side. How does a heart disappear? Because otherwise, they're just going to continue to accumulate, and after 10 years, they're going to have 1,000 hearts in there.
Good point. So right now, that if events have the post online end date, so if you put that post online end date in iWeb, then the event will not show anywhere on Sitefinity. For example, you do a find event, help me search, choose. If you could not find the event from here, it will not show on the wish list too. So this is a 2014 event. It's completely removed from the website, then it will automatically remove from the wish list too.
So I think, so the post end date is when is that when recruitment ends, or is that when the fiscal year ends?
That's when we put a date in that says we don't want it to show up anymore on the website. We leave it a little while after to kind of say, hey, the event's out there, it's happening, but it's closed now, we've sold out, whatever it may be. And then at a certain point, we take it off. It doesn't display on our site anymore.
So what if, sorry to come back to this, what if we deleted it on the Sitefinity side once they registered? once we get the post-to-end date. But we keep that all in iWeb so that we know what they were interested in at some point for future recruiting. But once, because I'm coming back to this issue, like in iTunes, when you buy something on iTunes, once you've bought it, it goes out of your wish list because there's no point in wishing for it anymore, which is the problem I have with Netflix. So go ahead and scoff. Someday it's going to happen to you. You'll be halfway through a movie. I just watched this like a month ago.
Maybe when we're 80.
Maybe, but it still doesn't deny the underlying program limitations. So I think on the user side, if that once the effect of them wishing for it is done, either it's gone or they did it, there's no point in wishing for it anymore from their point of view. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it should remain in iWeb.
Which it will.
Exactly, it will, yeah.
My only concern with it and the iWeb side is that if we leave it on there until the post-to-web end date is reached, which is past the event, you're in your wish list, you're like, oh, you know, this is already closed, I didn't get registered for it, I'm just going to unheart it. We just took that out of their iWeb wish list. Now we don't know that they'd wished it anymore. So maybe we need to cut it off when the event closes, or when registration ends, or when it takes place, or, you know, because it's still going to show up in that list of all the activities that we have, but we don't want to show in their wish list anymore because they can't act on it anymore except to remove it from their wish list.
You see, that's what I'm saying. But as long as we can keep the intelligence that they wanted it, so that goes into a sort of a black hole that they can't delete it on the iWeb side, then yeah, I think either registration deadline or a couple weeks after the registration deadline, because I'm sorry, Teresa, you always fudge on your registration. Not always, but you sometimes fudge on your registration deadline. And that would certainly help if we knew that there were still 10 people with hearts out there that we hadn't registered. Where else do you want to go?
The one variation on it, which would probably be a change, but would be better for recruitment, is if they've ever clicked the heart, it shows up in the list, and then the current status of whether they left it wished for or not. That way we'd know someone was interested at one point, maybe they ended up not going, but for a while there, they had expressed interest in this event and added it to their list.
Well, actually,
I wanted to add,
yeah, it's all covered. Yeah, because, so kind of answering all those questions, every time you add the wish list, it's always in iWeb. If the event is end dated, it will remove from the public site, Sitefinity site, but the iWeb still exists. And also the second thing is when you remove a heart, it only soft delete the record. So it won't show in Sitefinity, it won't show in iWeb, but behind the scene in the database, it just set the defect to 1. So as answer to Mike's question, yes, you'll always be there. You can see everyone ever heart something, it will still on the database.
so then if they heart it again after they've unhearted it, is it simply taking away the soft delete flag, or is it adding yet another record?
Adding a new record.
Interesting. Okay.
So when you do report, you can easily do this thing and report on how many times they have hearted before too.
Ken, could you just clarify, I may have missed it, so if they register for the event, what happens to it? Does it get automatically removed from the wish list?
No, it's still here. So we do the Amazon way, we don't do the Apple way.
Maybe if a company already registered for something 2 months ago and then they go and install on their wish list, they might click on it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's the notification saying you're already registered for the event that appears, so that's a safeguard.
Okay.
All right. So,
My question,
okay, go ahead.
if somebody wants to mark an item as a wish list item as a future prospect, saying this year we can't really afford it or it's not in our best interest, and then they want to come back to it next year, at that point, the only place that the data exists is within our end for outreach purposes. They can't use the wish list as saying, next year I'd like to do something. Exactly. If it's removed from the web and we only have the iWeb record, then from the participant's perspective, they can't use that as saying, what did we want to do last year that we couldn't do with Food Export this year?
Ah, that's a good point. Yes, that's a good point. I think I have a solution. We can show in the wish list as 2 lists. The first list is the active event for wish list. The second list is like end data event. It's just a name. They cannot click anything, but just a plain list to see these are all the wish list events, but they all have a post online end date, so you cannot do anything about it. A second list from this page. Just one way of doing that that I can think of. Yeah, you can think about that. So I mean, that's optional. Or you can like send a report or like some marketing material periodically, you know, to recruit them. Because you have the data, you can actually proactively send to these people, hey, you wish list this event last year, but you didn't register. It's coming up in 2 months. Let's register for it. And give them an early bird discount, something like that.
I guess it's a question of do they need to see their historical wishes or not.
Right, right. We can easily add that. You can think about that. So because the demo is still in progress, and after go live, you can have so much room to improve this. All right, so let's move on to the next item. All right. Okay, so the next item is a My Task page. So this page replaces a welcome page. The My Task page is the first page you will see after you log in. Okay, so here we go. So the My Task page have a couple information. So number one, on the top left-hand corner, this is the activity registration. Is any event that you register that have the activity action required. Maybe a demographic information, maybe a product. But anything is required action, it will show here. The second list is all your open invoices. It will be open invoice for yourself and also from your organization. And the third one is the evaluation. List all the evaluation that you have, and you can click on any of those. And lastly, on the right-hand side, these are upcoming events. We only show the top 3. You can see that we have some like small JavaScript animation. It will show the next 3 events, and for a couple of seconds, show the next event, and so on and so on. Okay. All right. So let's come back to this guy first. It's easy. So the activity evaluation, this is the exact same list and logic from the current eWebsite. And this link, you actually go to eWeb directly. You can see when I click on it, you open a new tab and opening eWeb, doing single sign-on and open the actual evaluation currently for that event. All right. And if the link is for initial, you open the initial evaluation. If 6 months, open at 6 months. So there's no change at all from the current eWeb implementation. And in cycle 2, the evaluation, this table will completely redo to show the new structure, new type. There's no more 6 months, will be follow up. They have an activity date and more information status about the evaluation. All right, going back up one more. This is the open invoice. So when you click this view print link, it will open up the PDF of the invoice. You can see pretty quick open up a PDF. You can click on that, and this is the actual invoice. They can open, print, and if they have open balance, they can pay for it. Of course, this is not an online payment. You can print this and mail it out. I just use a standard. I think this is called the invoice with format report. If you have a different report you want to use, just let us know. We can just change the report key. You'll render that report automatically. All right.
Can I have a question about it?
Yes.
So if a company doesn't have any open invoices, how much of that bar are they going to see? Is that bottom row going to be blank, or is the whole 3-row section going to be gone?
Oh, so it will still have the section called open invoices, and there will text saying no open invoices or no current open invoice. All right. So we have implemented the same logic for all this table. For first table, if you don't have any open activity, you say no open activity. If you have no evaluation, you say no open evaluation. But the box will still be there.
The reason I'm asking is because since when we designed this, we still had a lot of people that got invoiced, but we're really shifting away from invoicing. So my guess is that we're going to have very few companies that have open invoices. But if they're looking at this page and they see that there's a place for open invoices, they may ask, how do I get an open invoice? How can we get invoices? So my question is, how difficult would it be that if the bottom row were blank and it said no open invoices, how difficult would it be to make that whole section visible?
No, we can get it done by go live next week. Wouldn't change a thing. I'll just do it pretty quickly. Yeah, so I think there's also on the same topic, there's open discussion that right now when you check out, you can only do credit card. We want the bill me feature. If we turn on the bill me later back, then there will be a lot of open invoices. And also we have a topic to change the branded to different billing, checkout. So that's all incorporated that if you have more bill me only event or bill me only, invoices, then this will be more useful. And you can even put in more feature on here. Not only they can print the invoice, they can pay online. But it kind of defeats the purpose. You want to bill me later, you don't want to pay online, you want to send a check. But you allow them to pay online from here using a shopping cart, then they're paying by credit card. So that's more like accounting decision that if you want to accept credit card or how many invoices you want to make, the invoices. All right. So this covers these two boxes, the open invoice, activity evaluation. There's nothing to cover much about the upcoming event on the right-hand side. You just click on the link, you'll go to that event. And
so a couple of questions on the upcoming events.
Yep.
If they hover over, does it stop shifting?
Oh, good point. It does not. So let's see.
It seems kind of quick. So they have just a few seconds to scan 3 different events, and then to decide to act on it. By then, it's probably moved on. So we should probably have it scroll more slowly. Secondly, if they hover over, it should stop so that they can make their decision if they want to click. And then third, can we have maybe the little buttons, not buttons at the bottom, but where it shows the different dots, which one they're on, where they could go back to it? Otherwise, they see one they want, and then it's gone. How do they get it back? They don't know.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. The back and forth thing. Okay, the pager thing. Okay.
I hate when that.
Like, oh, that looks really interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to see that, or even if it's a news feed or whatever, it's like, how do I go back to
Rolling on the carousel.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, no problem. All right. And then finally, the activity registration. So when you click on this action required, it will jump to the My Activity tab. And that's all it does. It's jump to that tab and have that line. So any question before we move on from the My Task page?
What happens when you click on action required?
It will jump to the My Activity page.
It does. Okay.
Ken? Another question. The online product catalog and market builder don't have deadlines listed in the action required.
Right, I realized that. So we still have some. So we still have in progress. There's some minor bug like how are these ordered? Why are they missing date? This is also on my checklist to fix. But you're a good point. Yes, that's a good catch. You find that out. And also this add to Outlook is not clickable. That's also on the to-do list to finish by this week. All right. So yes, the add to Outlook. This is missing a day. There's a bug. This is in progress. Add to Outlook. When you click on that, you download the Outlook calendar file. Then have a pop-up say, do you want to add to Outlook? It's just an Outlook invite. So we're working on that one.
And on that, Ken, presumably you have to have your Outlook open that you want to add it to, right?
Exactly. You must have Outlook. It won't add to the online Outlook web app, Gmail. It won't do that. This is specific just for Outlook Windows application.
Ken? We noticed here, I'm glad these are the activities up because I noticed for a lot of our activities, Market Builder and Online Product Catalog, there isn't a date. It's an ongoing activity, so we wouldn't add it to Outlook. Wonder what would happen in that case. Because if they add it, it's going to add their entire year.
Exactly. Yes, it will. It will. So the way to add to Outlook is take the event start date and end date, and that become your Outlook day range. So that's a good point. Let me think about that. Yeah.
Would a workaround be that we just every month go in and put in a new start and end date for Market Builder and online product catalog as a way of creating some sense of urgency to get it done?
Yeah. No, I don't think we do have due dates that would be targeted based on when they register. So that's fine. I think what Amanda's talking about is the add to Outlook. If you look in the column to the left of that, it has the whole program year. And so if they would go to add that to Outlook, it would basically add it for the entire year. I think maybe, I don't know if we can disable the add to Outlook for year-long activities or long activities, whatever it would be. Or
in the event setup, we have our two different types of events. One's where we have activity required on it being an event like a buyer's mission that takes place from a certain date, and those are based on the date of the start date, I believe, of it. And then we have our year-long events, which take place after registration. And I think if we use that setting that tells which it is, if the ones that take place after registration, you know you can just exclude the Outlook option for those, because those are all year-long type events.
Yeah, I'm showing the screen. That is what Mike was talking about, this online product catalog. The activity day is 1 month, of the registration date. And you can see the other one like 1 week after cutoff date. Yeah, but what's the indication that this is an 8-year-long event?
It's that 1 week after registration date, or that after registration date setting. So if you simply use after registration date as the parameter and say don't show this if it's set to be after registration date, then we'd be correctly filtering out those events.
Okay, so that will include Food Export Helpline, Market Builder, and online product catalog.
Correct.
Okay, I see. Anytime they use a registration date, then exclude that. Okay, I see.
Exactly.
All right. Let me write this down. That's a good point. Okay. So on option 2, we can still have this button, but use that activity date instead. So the Outlook date would be the actual date is set like 1 week after registration. Does it helpful, or you don't need that at all?
I think this what we're talking about is simply to hide the add to Outlook, because you wouldn't add a year-long event to your Outlook.
Okay.
You would add literally a year-long event to your Outlook. Which
no problem.
Very annoying to people. So they just wouldn't see add to Outlook for that.
No problem. Okay, we'll make that change. All right. Any other question on the My Task page? All right. So let's move on to the last section, which is the My Activity tabs. Okay, so this is the My Activity tab that you can see I have like, this order is not correct, so we have fixes on that already. Which order by the action required date. If the activity is completed, it should move to the bottom, but it did not. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 events that I register. 3 of them require action, and 2 of them is not complete. It's completed, or this is end data, that's why it's incomplete. So that's why this 2 did not show on My Task, because this 2 is not complete. Because end day passed, I didn't finish everything by the activity day. Or if it's already completed, it will not show on the first page. So let's talk it through. We still have some formatting and style to work on, but we try to finish all the functionality first to make all the exclamation mark. We still have to work on the coloring and font sizes, a little bit about that. But each row will show the event name, and then the action required, and it's the same problem that should show the date. This one does this not. It's a bug that we saw. This is the event start date end date, the same add to Outlook link. We'll also update this to follow the same logic that Mike recommended. And then under each event, based on the different event, it will show different links. So for example, the online product catalog have no attendee, it won't show attendee, and don't have activity info. And And all these events don't have bias ranking except, these two by mission have bias ranking. So this all dynamically built based on the Excel spreadsheet you provide, very colorful one, that different event type of different feature. So let's look at each feature individually. Each one of them, you click on it, open a pop-up. Some of them is finished, I can demo today, but some of the link is not complete, so I'm not able to show you today. We'll go over them one by one. So let's look at the product. When you click on that, it will load all the product that organization has. And you can do a couple of things. One, you can add a new product, and it will open up the same pop-up that you saw you always use from the branded application or my product page. You use the exact same page. But we make a customization that depends on different event type. Some questions are required, some questions are not required. For example, in branded, favorite and variety, product description is not required. But in this case, it's required. We move it automatically, move to the first tab or the accordion panel and make it the label bold. When you didn't fill that in and just create, it'll give you like a warning, say, hey, this is required. So this is something we build in and automatically on different event type and different setup, we will make this different field required. So besides adding a new product, you can update a product. So you can click the edit button on any product. You open up the same page following the same format. And this will be very familiar interface that we use all along from branded. You can click next and go through them and then update the product. And you can realize these two check mark, the industry segments, channel, and favorite variety. You will show a check mark when the information is filled and you enter information. So again, it depends on the setup, different event type have different requirements, and this will show dynamically. And once you have all the required questions answered, you can promote the product on this event. You can see this product don't have this finish, so I cannot promote it. But once I enter them, and this become check mark that I can promote this. This I cannot promote. The promote is very straightforward. There's two tables per se. The first table is all the product, and the second table is called the product to promote. Right now it has empty, but once I click on the product promote button, it just take a half a second to jump to the next table grid. And you can promote the second one, it will jump over to it. You can remove, then it will jump back to the first table. But right now, you just automatically put it on the bottom. We didn't format or order this in any particular order. But I think you should order by the product name. It's also on our to-do list. Okay, you can promote, remove first. Sure.
So
go ahead.
The product list up above, is that going to be populated based on what's already in their product catalog? So if they have already entered this for a different activity, that's already going to be there, right?
Exactly. Not just activity. If they enter for branded, they're using the My Product page, all the product for the organization will be here.
Okay. But the products to promote will remain empty for this particular activity, and then they'll choose from that upper list based on whether all 3 rows are checked or whatever is required for that activity. And they can promote those from there.
Yep.
Wow. All right. I take back every bad thing I ever said about you, Ken.
That's so early. All right. So after that, they can.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I see that these aren't sorted. These items, will they be sorted by brand name?
Mm-hmm. Brand name. So I think brand name is this column, like here, this guy. So what about the brand name? Do you have a question or?
I didn't see that there was any sorting taking place within the product table.
Oh, correct. Yeah. Right now it's not any sorting, but we have a to-do list to sort by the brand name, as you said. Yes, we will do the sort by brand name.
I wonder if, I think the bottom's a little confusing. If I hit remove, I would think that it's removing it from the entire table. So I wonder if we could have, I mean, that's probably another discussion as to what we want to do there, but to me, it makes me think it's
And
something.
here's a possible solution. And I was looking at the same thing. So where it says products to promote, what if we said products to promote for this activity?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would really help.
And then what if up above it says, where it says my products?
Mm-hmm.
Tooltip, I'm not sure what we have there, and I can't read that language. But we need to make it clear that this is their universe of products that their company has provided us for all food export activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do any text changes while you're actually testing next week. You have a chance to actually come here. You can take screenshot, and you can rename anything that you think is, makes sense. For example, we can take the, tooltip, paragraph change, update this title, product to promote, and also if you don't like the remove button, we can say unpromote, right? We can also do that, or unpromote from this event to make it very, specific. So these are all you can change. All right, there's a good chance next week that you can, give us all the feedback.
When
Maybe
you
one more
click-
thing. Sorry, go ahead, Suzanne. I just, the order being different at the bottom, I think in that product to promote table is maybe a little bit confusing. That's probably something we can change for next week, but the brand name's not in the same column.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Right, brand name's on the first column.
I think you could probably just have the brand name and the product,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's something probably for further discussion. But
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so next week, make sure you test all the functionality as well as the text label button changes. That's a good, good week that you can, or 2 weeks to play around this and give us any feedback you can, think of. All right, and then you can close. If you close, it will lose all the changes, or you can just say save and edit later. It will save it, and then you keep the exclamation mark, and it's still there. But if you do open the same product page, but you say, look at this exclamation mark. If I do I am finished, then it will make the exclamation marks goes away, meaning I finished this activity. All right, unable to save changes. Great, awesome. All right, so I'll take care of this bug. Always fun to have a demo. All right, so pretend it worked, then it will take out this exclamation mark, and so does the other one. So assuming I can finish all these two, then this event will be completed. It will say registration complete on this line. But right now I can't do that because there's some bug. Let me write it down real quick.
Ken, I had a question still on that box. Is there, on my products to promote in this activity, would there be a way, or I don't even know if, would be a way that we can expire the edit part of it? Because as we get close to the activity, we don't want this to be edited like right when the activity is taking place,
Absolutely.
So there is a place where we can just say, this is sort
The
of...
problem is it's their universe of products that they can always edit.
Well, you'd have to lock the activity side of it.
And then we're getting into like a snapshot like Branded has. Right now it's just a link to their product showing what they had, and if they change that product over time, it's going to be a different version of the product whenever they changed it, as opposed to a snapshot that's being recorded like Branded does. And that seems, I think, over the top for what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Right.
So
answer my question, yeah.
The question would be whether or not we're going to have live data, and so then it's going to be live up to the point at which the buyer sees it. So if they were changing it the night before and the buyer saw it yesterday, they're going to see the old version, but if the buyer saw it this morning. But I think we're going to have less of a need to print a buyer. Well, we won't have a problem printing a buyer profile whenever we print it. And if it's been updated since then, well, then, snooze you lose. And you've just got to be clear in your procedures to tell the company that, look, the buyer profiles will be provided to them on March 8th at midnight. So any changes after that won't be reflected.
The other thing, too, is we have our deadlines for these activities, and that's based on a certain date from the event. So if they're getting these done by the deadline, they'll have updated their products to whatever extent they want it.
I guess my question here would be, Suzanne, because I'm not really familiar, for trade visions and, for the pre-event market research, this is what we're using, right, as the selected product to do the research on. So that's more of my concern.
That's a question that we're asking in the initial registration process.
Okay, so it's not on this list. Okay, all right.
All right, so in summary, so that's like we have two questions here, right? So the first question, Mike and Tim answered it, yes. So it's the same universal list of products. So even though, for example, this activity, the product activity is locked down because the registration date is passed, but if I update the same product on a different activity, yes, the same product will be updated when you print it and put because it is the same universal list of product. So you change a name on this product, yes, it will affect on the other product even though it's locked down, this event. The name or information will change. So that's one of the topic you talk about. And the second thing is the activity day. So if I complete the product, yes, this will become read-only. I cannot do anything. Or if, like Suzanne said, if the activity day is come very close, it passed the activity day, and then the entire event will be registration incomplete, and all of this become read-only. So let's go to this example. This event have this product link, and this event is already past the activity day. So you can see all the buttons are disabled. I cannot make any changes on behalf of this event. I cannot promote any product. I cannot make any changes. So this is when that the activity is past the activity day, so you cannot make any changes. But circle back to the question, right? So let's say this, Wisecracker, even though I cannot change it on behalf of this event, but because it's the same universal list of product, I can still go to different events. This is active, so I can still go to the Wise product and make changes of the same product because the same product is like somewhere along this list. So let's see if I can.
So once your section, whether it's attendees or products or all the things that you're going to demo here, Ken, once you complete that task, it turns into just a information only section. If you wanted to go back and change your products and stuff, you just go to My Products and you can change your universe of products. I mean, you'll always be able to actively change it. But this section, My Activities, pertains to only specific events. So once you complete the task, then it's like, okay, you've completed it, here's what you've said, but you can't edit it again.
We'll make sure that goes.
Exactly, right. All right, so, yeah, sure, go ahead.
What's the difference between action required and registration incomplete? Because my understanding is they wouldn't be able to complete registration at all, so there would never be a registration incomplete.
So there are 3 different status. The question is what the difference between this thing. So there's 3 possibilities. One is action required, have a date on it. So that's when you register, the activity is not reached yet. It's action required. And the second status is before the activity end date, you finish everything. You complete. You see a green text saying registration complete. And the last scenario is registration incomplete, is where that there's a setup in iWeb. For example, this by admission, you must finish everything 1 week after the registration cut off. And the day passed, but I did not do anything. All of them still have the exclamation mark, but I didn't do anything, and the day 1 week passed, then it becomes registration incomplete. All right, does that make sense?
That's where our staff would have to go in and complete, like our activity coordinator would filter the information, and we would enter on iWeb. I think that was the objective, right?
So you can, based on this activity, you can send an email to or you contact the supplier and say, hey, you didn't finish that. The day is coming. You can mark it or promote or contact this person based on the status.
Hey, Ken, is there any way we can override that so that they're able to edit those forms again, even though it's past that deadline?
Right now, there is not. I base on the universal date that once they set up on the event that it passes, then everything is locked down. You can still do it in iWeb, but not eWeb. Let me think about that. You can update the activity day. Instead of 1 week, you can say 2 weeks, but it will affect all the event though, not just this one event registration.
Okay, just curious.
Okay. All right, and the next one I want to show you is the attendee. So you click that, same style, the pop-up open up. It will show you all the attendee you have selected on the registration. And then you can see you have this one, have one event, one attendee. It could dynamically draw 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can change to different person to be determined. You pick a different name. You have a special needed. And if the event have a meal plan, then you have a special box saying what is your special dietary requirements. And then same button, close, save and later, or I am finished. So let's see if this one works. So this is this Market Builder attendee. If I do, I am finished. So let's see, take away the exclamation mark. It does. Okay, awesome. So just the product doesn't work. This one does work. All right. All right.
I'm so surprised.
All right. So this attendee. Any question on the attendee? So when you come back to it, because you say I'm finished, that becomes read only. You cannot submit that again. You cannot make changes. So any question on the attendee page?
Yeah, so part of this is if they have it to be determined, they can change who's actually going to attend. Is that in there? Okay, so that drop down would say to be determined, and they can change it.
Right.
And Ken, just to confirm, the only names that are in that drop-down list are going to be current individuals tied to the organization. Is that correct?
Correct.
Where would we change the primary contact for an event?
That is on the activity info.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only other thing was the lunches. That was if there was a lunch.
We had lunch. Suzanne, do you recall the various fields we had for attendees when it came to lunch and special needs and all that good stuff?
What is the question?
When we look at that attendees section, when there's like lunch involved.
Yeah.
I would check under the Northeast Fires Mission what that one looks like, because that's an activity that should have that.
All right. So the next section is the. I'm sorry. Do you have a question, Michelle?
Yeah. Go ahead,
okay.
Ken.
Okay. So the next section is the activity info. It will show all the activity questions for different event type. We do have an internal note here that. So I already opened this Excel document. We are still a little bit not quite 100% on this file. I think we are 95% correct on based on what event type and ask what question based on this different color coding and naming. But if you find that we missed anything on this page, let us know because we think we are 90% sure. So there's still the 5% that should we ask the question or not, because the color coding and naming somehow we kind of not quite sure. But once you during testing, if you're saying, hey, no, I want to ask this question too, we can easily put that back because with the mechanism built in, you just need to know which one to where. So this will apply to this activity info.
Yeah, Ken, I'll definitely make a note of it, but I'm looking at the scope of work and the requirements, and we are missing some details in that attendees table, so I'll make a note of it.
Okay, great, awesome. And the activity info page also will be the area that we're planning to have the drop down to change your primary contact person, like other questions like what is your goal of this event, what market you go to. This anything that's specific to the event will show on this page and allow them to change. Same question, same button, close, save and later, and I'm finished. This is this activity info. All right, so we cover the product page. So same idea on the organization information page. It will show all the questions that in this Excel document that in this area, like these demographic questions. But this is not complete yet. We're still working on the last piece where you can upload your company logo. It's one of these questions here. We put it part of the organization info because the image part is not done yet. That's why I cannot show you this org info. But it will be the same layout. The pop-up have different area. Some question required, some not required. The three same buttons: save, submit later, or submit now. 3 buttons. The next area is the invoice and receipt. If you click on that, it will open the same list like that you see from the My Task page. But this invoice is only the invoice for this event. It's not for the organization, not for the person, but just for this event. And then you can click the same link to download the PDF, open the report, same feature that we used on the first page. All right. Last, the evaluation. So this link is not working right now. It will show the exact same list from the My Task page, but instead it will only show the evaluation for this event. So in our local, it's not deployed to test yet, but it will be the exact same list, and then also same link to go to eWeb. And also when we go to cycle 2, this will have, we will not open a pop-up, but instead have 2 links. One say initial, final, and the second one say follow-up. You have a new table structure for the evaluation. All right, any question on this, like 6 different links under each event?
I thought we were holding off on listing that evaluation link on any current evaluations until that next phase comes up, because right now there wouldn't be anything to show on any. I mean, this shows all, I guess this shows all upcoming activities, but I think we had talked about having some historical ones too. So it's
okay.
But,
yeah, that makes sense for this list because only show 2015 events. So you click this pop-up, this will always empty because you can always, because it's not going to go back to the old evaluation. So we can definitely remove this link for this cycle 1A release.
Michelle, isn't that what we talked about, adding that later?
I think so. We really need to go through kind of what's going to show up here in general. You pointed it out, and Candy mentioned it. It's only showing active, current activities, but this is really my activities, meaning current as well as historical. So this is definitely something that we'll have to slug through, Ken, and I think there may be a couple of changes, and they're in the requirements. It's just probably we need to test it.
Right. So I actually after the demo, I got a couple of big questions we need to discuss. One of the questions is the evaluation link, because both branded and my activity is for the new 2015 have a brand new structure. The evaluation 2014 and history will not make sense to the same format. And the same apply to the My Task page, where right now these My Tasks are all my historical evaluation, and this go to the old site. And if I show the 2015 list, they have a different type. They have the activity day, which is not the same as the old one. So we need to figure out what's the best way to combine and where to show new structure evaluation and old structure evaluation. So this is something can think about, and next week to think where to show it. But for right now, for 2015, we will not show any link because there's no 15 data structure developed yet. All right. So any other question on this page, my activity? All right. So that's last 2 items I can show you. One is called the super. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Ken. Just wondered. I know we're kind of over time, but is the buyer ranking page available
Oh, yes,
for
yes.
viewing? Or?
Yeah, sorry. I totally forgot that. That's one of the coolest things I want to show you. Yes. I totally forgot. Yes. This is one thing that's pretty cool. And this is something that we are being very creative and do something interesting and creative. So this is a bias ranking. It will show you these are all buyer. We have a data conversion to convert all the buyer from the faculty record into a buyer registrant. So these are all converted in the test site. So for this event, it got like a handful of buyers. So right now, the way to rank them, you must first say I'm interested in this buyer. So let's say I randomly click I'm interested on this guy. It automatically jump to the first line, say rank number 1. You can keep clicking the other one, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can uninterest them. You'll remove the person, and the rank will adjust automatically. So that's first thing. And the number 2 is you can also drag and drop. So for example, I want to move this guy number 2, the person from Hong Kong. I want to rank him number 1. So you can see the mouse cursor become a cross arrow. So you can drag and then drop it to number 1. You can see as I move, it can travel along different row. If I drop it to whatever row I want, so let's say I drop it to the first line, and you can see the ranking automatically adjusts 1 through 5, and Hong Kong becomes number 1. And you cannot drag it outside the range though, because I'm only interested in the first 5. You can see if my mouse moves all the way down, the cursor becomes regular cursor. It just stuck on the last one because I cannot move any further. All right. So, and also you cannot drag and drop the one that you're not interested. The mouse cursor won't be draggable. And then at the end, you can do save, close, save later. We did not build this to link, so that's something to do. We open the same PDF that you have on eWeb, open the view of the buyer profile, and also the download all buyer profile. The cool thing is we do this like drag and drop thing. It's pretty slick and easy to use and pretty fast. The final ranking is just save at the end. It will save on this order on the database.
Okay, there's a link to the buyer profile, a hyperlink from the, or that goes to a single document for the whole page, right, for the whole list, right?
So that's 2 links. If you click on the profile on next to a person, this buyer, you open the profile for this one person. If you click a download all, it will run the same report but for all buyers.
Okay, got it.
All right.
I'm pretty excited about this one.
Oh, cool. Yes. All right. Any question on this page?
Ken, how do you have the buyers initially sorted? Can we do that like by country to start? So when you open up the grid?
Right now, we are not sorting by anything, but it's a good point. Yeah, we can sort by country, by the org name, by the person's name, anything you want to sort by. So we'll sort by the country name. So what's the second order by? First by country and then by, what's the next order by?
Yeah, I think it would definitely be by country, because the PDF document that's linked there at the bottom is sorted by country. So this way they would be synchronized.
Okay, I'll first sort by country and then by org name.
Yes.
All right, cool. We'll do that. All right, great. So I will close this page and demo the final 2 area. So the next area, actually I have the branded open. The next area is a branded portal that we have a new area called the evaluation. So right now these 2 links go to eWeb directly. It's a timeout already. I didn't log in. But there's one link to go to submit evaluation and one go to search evaluation. So this goes straight back to the eWeb same page that we had before for the evaluation. All right, just right here. But also, these 2 links only work for 2014 program year. 2015, we have a new structure. So that's also something to think about that because the current design, the interface, you have the 14 and 15 on the same page, but you have only one area to search and submit evaluation, we need to have a distinction between is this link open 15 or 14. But right now there's only one link, so we don't know where to open. So it's something to think about that. How do we implement that when we go to cycle 2? Because cycle 2 we have a new link.
Yeah, we changed that to where the evaluation link would be by year. So instead of having an evaluation section, it would be an evaluation link for that year that would appear when appropriate. And then we would have search evaluations under the historical section.
Okay, so you're saying the evaluation link is within the year box, right? Within this box.
Yeah, so it just appear at the bottom. It's like the last thing you do in the year is you
Got
evaluate.
You. Got you. How about a search? Would the search can search both the old and new one?
The search would be in the historical section.
Yeah, I mean, the historical section would just show existing one. It's a question of like now you can see your current application, and if it's in process, you can edit it from the search page. But we wouldn't necessarily want to show the current evaluation unless it's active where they could see it, and then sure, they could go into it from there if they wanted to.
All right, okay. So in cycle 2, we'll definitely investigate and discuss this a little bit further. But for right now, there's just a link go to eWeb. And then any question on this 2 link? Otherwise, we move on to the last demo. All right, so the final one is on the My Organization tab. So right now, there's this exact same thing because I'm working for this organization. So the customization is a super admin. If I am working for a organization, either the Food Export Midwest or the Northeast organization, so first of all, I must have a relationship to the Midwest or Northeast Food Export Association. I need to first managing food export first, and I'm a staff on this organization. Once you do that, you realize that there's a new link right here. If you are a food export organization right now, you can see a food export staff user link that we added, so which is the super user. So if you click this link, you can manage any other organization that in the system. So that means you don't have to go to iWeb, add a relationship, make yourself an admin permission, and then log back into Sitefinity. You don't have to. So in this interface, I can find any organization by name or by type. So let's say I can find any supplier starting with A. This will be a long list because I don't know any good organization name. So you do a search of any organization in the system that is active, and then I can just pick it from the
wildcard in that search.
Yes, it is wildcard already. You can put a wildcard in the beginning, but at the end it's always put at the end.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It is not a very smart search that I did. You know, anything beginning with A should be tons of organization. It's a very long list. Come on. All right, there you go. So you can see the name. There are like so many pages of it. So maybe like 200 pages. But right now it's a wildcard not begin with. So it's like containing A. So it's something you want to, when you say A and search, do you admission is start with A or anything including A? It should be just begin with A, right? Because right now it's anything including A, like this Sunset ice cream is not start with A.
I think contains is okay, Ken. I don't think we'll just search by a letter. We'll have an idea and be using a piece of a company's name, so I don't think that's a problem.
All right, awesome.
Leave it as it is.
Okay, no problem. So let's say I want to manage this organization called Sunset Ice Cream. I can just click Manage, and then it will do something crazy and saying that, yes, you are a person, admin person of the Sunset Ice Cream. So now when I go to like my product, my profile, everything will become the information of the Sunset Ice Cream. So that means you don't have to go to iWeb and a relationship, because if you actually go to iWeb and a relationship right now, it will show on all the drop down on a report. And this is you don't have any relationship record. It's just like magically let you managing this organization. You can register for, you can manage their product. You can update, register for events. You can update their branded program as them. So you can use the same interface that we don't have in iWeb, like the registration event and also the brand application is all like pretend you're the person from this organization. This is the super admin organization.
Ken, for the logging of those, is that, I presume that super user will be identified in the logging field?
Yeah, so way we do it right now that, so for me, why I have a super user, because this iWeb, I'll show you this is my profile. Okay, for myself, I log in as myself. I have a relationship with this organization, which is called Food Export Association of Midwest or the Northeast. So there's two organizations in the system, Northeast and Midwest. So anyone in the relationship and anyone have a relationship role called staff. So anyone here see staff. When they log in, then they will see the super admin link. As long as they're staff and as long as they don't have an end date, they're active, then they will see the super admin.
So for logging purposes, that's going to log their eWeb username?
Right now, it still says fresh points.
And do we have an ETA on when that's going to get fixed?
I did not hear back from Abila on this ticket in particular.
It wouldn't be wise of us to push that to live in the sense that we need to know who's editing it if it's somebody that's using the super user account.
Well, we can push it to live and deal with it procedurally until that gets resolved.
No, they share.
Yeah, and they're not members of Food Export.
Yeah, no.
Midwest.
But we'll have to deal with that. But at least we can see what damage and what havoc we could create if we turn it on.
Right, and this is also useful when you want to replicate an issue. Let's say the customer say, I log in as this organization, I don't see X and Y. You can just use super admin to manage the organization and go to the same tab to see, hey, do I see my product, do I see my brand or something like that.
So how would you switch back or switch to a different organization from this point?
So at this point, you can either log out and log back in, then the session is gone, or you can just click Manage Other Organization, because right now it says Sunset Ice Cream. But once you click Manage, the drop-down will not have Sunset because you never have an actual relationship to the organization. You can just go back to your KDS Fire or Midwest or other organization you're currently managing on. All right, now I'm back to Food Export in Midwest. Okay, so this is all that we have completed so far, and the missing pieces are like the organization info, some of the sorting and evaluation link, but this should be the majority of the tasks we completed. So next week when we release to you guys, yeah, it should be a lot of testing. Yeah, I think something messed up for Export Midwest and to program that. There's a lot of testing because this file, the Excel file, is a lot of information to test, like which event asks which question in which area. So those are a lot of things. So this is required, this is not required. So this is something that need to test very specifically. All right, any other question?
Hi, can I have an overall? I just have an overall question.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be limited to testing certain events, or can we test pretty much any event? Should they all be functional?
Yes, so after today, I'll work with Mike to do a backup and restore over to the test-free site, because right now this Sitefinity don't have any event you set up from production. So once we do a backup restore, then anything that you have in test, I think we did a backup restore last week too, so it should have a pretty close set of data from production. So that means you can pretty much test any event you want that you have set up as of last week.
Okay, thank you.
And we're out of time, but thanks very much for everything that you've done this morning, and we've got our work cut out for us for the testing, and we will get as much of that back to you as quickly as we can.
All right, great, awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, it looks really good, Ken. Thank you.
Nice work.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.